Did you know that the self-help industry has grown to over $10 billion just in the US alone? There's so much money in people telling you what to do, buy this program, read this book, but what if you could get the most benefits from coaching yourself? We're talking about that strategy in this video. It is that time of year again, guys. We are going over the Ultimate Guide to Keeping a Journal Part 4. What's up, refusers? Danger, according to my old journals. Clark from refusing2settle.com back with yes, you ask for it. You know we do this every year. It is our tradition. It's our kind of free bird that everyone screams. If we were a band on stage, people would be screaming for this. It's the Ultimate Guide to Keeping a Journal, Part 4. I can't believe we've done this now for 4 years in a row. These have been seen by over 550,000 people on this channel, the journaling series. Next year it'll be 1 million. We got big goals for it. And the journaling series is huge. I'm so honored and humbled that you all have watched this video. It started as kind of this geeky little hobby I did, got results from, got benefits from, and thought maybe 20 people would watch this, you know? Like, who's really gonna be interested in a dude talking about journaling on YouTube? Like, isn't this some Dear Diary thing? Or isn't this something that people just do with no real benefits? And that's not what it is. I'll show you in this video if you're brand spanking new. So a lot of people, they saw the video and they gave it a shot. And they started trying it in their life, the journaling method I walk over. And to this day, I get hundreds of photos and testimonials from people with their journal using this exact method we've gone over. People saying that it helped them refuse to settle, that they changed their relationships, their jobs, their business, their health, their family, just using this journal method. I mean, I get chills right now talking about the results it's gotten people, and I'm so passionate about this. And I know that if you've never done this before, if you've never tried this annual journal that I'll walk through in a little bit with you, then you're in for a treat, because you're gonna get the most benefit out of this if you haven't done it before. Just like if you're in the gym, you get the most benefit in that first month, 2-3 months, and the adaptations come really, really fast. So be open to this if you've never done this. So these aren't all my journals right here, but you can see it's quite the stack. 4 of them right here, 5 right there. I think I've done this for 6 or 7 years in a row, and I'll walk through how to set this up, why I do it, the benefits from it, how you can replicate it. Success leaves clues. Those 3 words are by Jim Rohn. He said that in order to be successful, you got to model what successful people have done. It makes sense, right? If you want to be a famous golfer, you'd probably model after Tiger Woods. You'd watch his stroke, you'd watch how he plays, you'd watch how he hits the ball, how he approaches things, right? If you want to be an awesome chess player, you'd follow a chess master around and see what's going through his head, what the thought process is. You want to be a successful YouTuber, you know, you look at successful YouTube channels, you model after them. Well, if we want to be successful in life as a person, what do you think we should do? Probably model successful people, right? Get this. Everyone from Oprah, Bill Gates, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Einstein, all these people had one thing in common. They all kept a journal. So when you're journaling, you're tapping into the thing that the best minds throughout history have known and they've done and they've gotten benefits from, keeping a journal. In fact, Bill Gates liked it so much that he bought 8 pages of Leonardo da Vinci's journal for $30.8 million. Now, I'm not gonna make you pay that much. That is an outrageous amount. Good thing this thing only costs about $7. You can get it on Amazon. I'll link it down below. The one I use is a Pentalic sketchbook, and I'll walk through why in a little bit. The point there is that success leaves clues. We can model after what successful people do. They all have a method of tracking. So it's in this way your journal becomes the best book you've ever read. You're compiling all these lessons. I'm so excited. I want you to see this content. Let's turn this camera around now and we'll actually dive into how to set up and why you should do this. And I'll look inside my journal, very real, transparent, and vulnerable with you here. Let's turn that around. I'll see you back after that. You know the drill. The first thing we do is set up our 2018 journal. Again, Pentalic sketchbook. You can get this on Amazon. I got a 2-pack to save money. It came the other day. I think it was $20. So $10 a year for this journal is what it's going to run you. Now these sketchbooks are, actually have the new one right here. 110 sheets, so 220 pages in here, 11 by 8.5. So very, very good quality. I've been using them for years. So we're going to write the series name first. No secret here, you just want to make it look as nice as possible. Next, we're going to set up your front cover. So if you've never seen my journal, it looks like a mess, but if you've seen the dozens of other journal videos, you know that this side is where you write all your big goals, or not goals, but quotes, things that you've learned that year that you really want to incorporate to yourself. Here's where you record the things that year that are you. So you'll notice here I have my strengths of who I am: curiosity, love of learning, creativity, humor, playfulness, appreciation of beauty, wisdom. Right there. Those are my strengths. So that's a trait of who I am. Stop settling, start living. That's me. Oh, what a wonderful opportunity for personal growth. 23,725. The amount of days I have till 90. Anger Watt, where I stop settling, start living, untapped potential. Okay, so not to drone on here, you get the point. This is your, like, if someone shook you in the middle of the night, they woke you up, how would you describe yourself over here? Now, if someone shook you in the middle of the night and said, what do you want to incorporate? These are just like big quotes you've learned that year, some nuggets that you can draw in. So I'm going to set that up now. 32,850 is the amount of days you have until 90. If you've seen that video on this channel, you know this. Skip ahead. But if you haven't, then that sounds morbid, right? Why would you put the days you have until you die at 90 years old, Clark? That sounds really depressing. It's not. It's a reminder to take each day to the fullest, because a lot of people, we don't even get 90 years. We get 72 years, I think, is the average in America if you're a male, 74 if you're a woman, somewhere around there, in your 70s. So that's a lot less than you thought. And if you're already 20, 30, like most of you watching this channel right now, your days are a lot less. So that's, again, not to depress you, but to motivate you that, like, most people talk about new year, new me. Don't wait till New Year's. Stay motivated year round. Remember, coach yourself. That's the point of keeping this journal. So write that number smack dab in the middle where you will face your own mortality every single day. That's what Steve Jobs said was remembering he was going to die every day, looking in the mirror, was why he was able to do the things that people thought were crazy. Paraphrasing there, but something along the lines of that. Okay, so somewhere in your journal, do this exercise at the very least. So how do you do it? Well, I'll tell you. And we go a lot deeper in the My Best Journal program on all these sorts of exercises. So you do 365 times your age. Let's just say you're 26. So 9490. And then you subtract 9490. And that will give you 23,360 days until you are 90 years old. A little update here. This will stay pretty basic for now. I think this is good enough to get started through the year. Again, you're always going to be adding to this as you go, as you get more inspired. So I just wrote my name, very basic. I'm refusing to settle for this amount of days till 90. Stop settling, start living, and my 6 character strengths. So let's go ahead and move on to not drone on too much in this video. Now, our next course of action is going to be setting up our back cover, my personal favorite spots. So it's gonna end up looking like this, right? And I already went over this with you in the goal setting workshop, your work, rest, play goals. So watch that if you want an in-depth view of this. So right here we have our 3 areas that we set goals in. Your work area, so these are like your contribution, business, wealth goals, really analytical numbers. You have your rest section, so your personal goals, what do you want to achieve, like, you know, health goals, or taking care of yourself, or investing in yourself with online courses. That's here. And then you have your play goals, so your adventure or materialistic things. That's all good. Put it here. That should get you inspired too. So do you want to travel this year? Do you want to get a new Triumph motorcycle that you've always wanted since you saw Brad Pitt on one and he looked badass? Okay, put it here. What kind of books do you want to read? Do you have any gear you want to get? That's the gist of this. Now over here you have challenges for 2017. That's what I had that I thought I was going to do, and some courses that I want to do. I'm not exactly sure what to call this page. More just like challenges for yourself, where these are goals, and they are a bit different, right? Because these are more kind of one-time things, and goals are okay if you have like the same ones every single year and you're just upping the bar. You see how that works? Like, I wanted to make 30K in 2016 on subscribers, and then this year it was journey to 100K. Now in 2018, it's going to be the journey to 250K. So that's technically the same goal of subscribers, but now the upping the ante is 30 to 100 to 250. You see how that works? Same here, maybe you're overweight and you want to lose 50 pounds this year. Well, then next year you set the goal of losing 10 pounds, because you've already lost the majority of it, or lowering your body fat, or getting strength, something like that. You don't try and cram all of this into like 1 year and say, this year I'm going 0 to 250 subscribers. Like, that's a burnout mentality, and that's not exactly like realistic, okay? And I know people have mixed opinions on being realistic with goal setting. Personally, for me, where I've seen the biggest benefits in life has been from goals that I know is a stretch, right? We talked about that rubber band, goals that will stretch you, like the rubber band right there. That's what they're meant to do. They're meant to stretch out, but they're not going to snap me. So if I go too far, boom, I snap and the rubber band is worthless. So it's like, lift 100 pounds on bench press when you haven't before. Okay, that's a stretch. Lift 200 from day one. That's a snap. That's not going to be very good. So that's my rant on how to set goals real quickly here. Again, stretch, don't snap. Know that these are what you're going to up every single year. Choose some core ones and work, rest, play. Here's some challenges that you're going to do. So for example here, I said post 50 videos, make 10K in 1 month, do 30 days at 10 steps, do 50 videos in 50 days. So that's an example of a challenge I wanted to do. Just get the skeleton outline. I give myself about 10, 8 boxes, whatever. And a good way to make sure that when you write these goals, since they're in the back cover, you write in pen, you can't really erase it. You want it to look neat and clean, but don't be a perfectionist. Write your goals out and do a brainstorm session. That should be done on a different page. You can do it in your journal, but I like to do it actually in my 2017 journal. So I have my 2018 goals right here. So I already have some pre-written goals out, and just some stuff that I'll write down now. So I have my successes in 2018, and then I have some goals that I want to achieve, or 2017, sorry, and goals I want to achieve in 2018, and then I'll transfer them into my journal. Okay, so I'm back. Just did about a little bit of a 30-minute goal setting workshop. Again, get inspired, get in a peak state, put on some good music, drink some good coffee, and go at it. So here are my finished goals. I didn't have the camera on just because that's insanely boring, but I'll walk through this just to give you an overview and then a special sheet, and then we'll get into actually setting up the sections in your journal, and then we'll be on our way and all done. So here's the 2018 goals. Now, in the past, I've said to anchor a word to it, but I think that overcomplicates it, and it's unnecessary. So this year, what I'm doing is I'm just anchoring my one big goal with that. So my one work goal this year is to incorporate systems into my business. That's it. So last year, up here, where is it? My goal was to turn pro. And I have kind of a 5-year plan with my business. So first year it was to turn pro part 1. This year was to turn pro part 2. Now this newest year is to incorporate systems, and the next year is to master the monetization. The year after that is to do more like physical speaking, touring, all that stuff. So you have 5-year plans, but it's 1 year at a time. So systems, that's my biggest year. So funnels, courses, all that stuff. $520,000 in revenue and $250K net profit. This is the first time I'm announcing that publicly. I had originally this $250K, and I'm like, you know what? I think I was listening to 10X. I'm like, why don't I just flip the numbers? And you get in life what you go for. So I said 520K. That's a huge number even to me still right now. I don't know how that's possible, but I know it is possible based on what I've seen this year. Gonna incorporate lots of retargeting, lots of advertising, lots of things that I haven't done to get me to that next level. 300,000 YouTube subscribers. I will hit that. It was 250, but I crossed it out because that was too small, and I upped it another 50. 150 by February, 200 by July. Some courses that I'm gonna release, and then investing 20K into courses myself that I will take. Honestly, the best investments I've ever made has been when I bought courses, because I'm an avid buyer of courses. I just bought one last night for $200. I bought one last couple weeks for $300. This year alone, I've bought several for over $1,000. I'm just a big believer in paying for education, guys. So whenever I tell you to buy a course, know that I do that as well. And the reason I'm telling you to buy something is from my own experience. Just a integrity thing there. My one rest goal this year, it was to no burnout, right? But I thought that was too self-explanatory, too basic. I really thought about it, and it is to trust my gut more, to listen to that intuition feeling, you know, to really tap into it. And I was reading the book, The Gift of Fear, and just really fascinating stuff on split-second gut decisions and how shockingly accurate they are. You know, everything from women who let a stranger into their apartment building, and they had a gut feeling that wasn't right, but they did anyway, and then they end up like hiding in a room and running all the way across and avoiding getting murdered. Like crazy stuff with gut stories, or gut intuition. That's there for a reason. Or big gut things just deep down in your life, like what should I do with my life, or should I stay with this person or not? I know you've had some of those. So trusting my gut, really honoring that, listening to that is my number one goal this year. No alcohol challenge, 10% body fat. I really want to get in, complete some gym course of a kind, like some scheduled training program instead of just going in there and winging it. And get in the best shape. I think I've neglected that as I've built my business. Now I'm not obese, I'm not fat, but you know, I look back 2 years ago and I was a bit leaner, and it might be micromanaging, you know, maybe 10, 15 pounds, but I still want to be in integrity with like stop settling, start living. I want to get in the best shape right there. But pizza's delicious. You know, that's my joke. One thing this year is to live the dream and feel the win. So if I looked back 5 years ago and where I would be 5 years today, and this isn't to be cliche, this is just to be honest and real, like I'm living the dream. I'm living what I thought was possible. And you know, I'm making six figures. I'm having a lifestyle design channel where I get to travel and make videos on the beach in Bali with dogs running around going crazy. You know what I mean? When you're actually doing it, it goes so fast that savoring those wins becomes its own skill. And like when I'm sitting there on stage playing to 6,000 people in Mexico screaming, you know, and I'm playing the songs with my favorite bands that I grew up listening to, and then I get to come back and travel and create courses and, you know, crush goals and lead a community of people who want to do the same. I mean, like, I can't think of a better job. I can't think of a better mission, and I can't think of a better community to lead. So I'm just really honored to be on that journey with you and to kind of inspire you, hopefully, to that you get in life what you settle for. And if you refuse to settle, anything's possible. So that's my goal this year, is to feel the win more. I guess gratitude, but while living the dream. Got some crazy festivals lined up with my band. We're going to be tearing it up. So I'll try and talk about tour dates and whatnot, but follow me on Instagram. If you have tours that are coming through, come say hey at one of them. I've met a lot of you actually on this past tour in the fall. And we got to meet in person, so that was cool. Costa Rica or Chiang Mai, I am not sure, but I want to do some sort of retreat there where I go there and create a course pretty much over the course of like 2 weeks or something. All right, so zoomed out, that is my year. Those are my goals. This is something I haven't revealed in previous journals, I don't think. Since you have those goals and you're like, all right, well, how are you going to track them? And it'd be, you know, I've always said give yourself small wins for big goals, like 520K in revenue or 300K subscribers. Well, like if you get to the point of that and then you just check it off, you'll be like, all right, that was cool. But if you build up to it, you value it more. It's kind of like looking forward to a dinner that you know is booked a week out, right? You look for it days, and then it finally comes and it's awesome. It's kind of like Christmas buildup, right? So it's the same thing with goals. You know, look forward to it. So right here, what I got is a journey to 300K subs. So 150 where we're at right now, all the way to 300. Okay, and every day, every time you hit one of these mini goals, these dominoes that you knock over, remember, you check it off and you write the date. Okay. And then here, the email list to 25K. Now, I do email marketing very differently than most people. Most people, they just accumulate a huge list and spam the crap out of them, and their open rates go down, click-throughs go down, everything is like in the gutter. For me, it's all about quality and not quantity. I want people to unsubscribe from my email list because that means I have more and more thousands of true fans who care about what I'm doing. I basically view email marketing as like the more pure your list is, the better your business will be. So I want to get to 25K, and if I had just kept everyone on the list and didn't purge it every 180 day, like hard clean, if you don't open an email, boom, you get removed. I remove you. I don't even wait for people to unsubscribe. Then I would have, I don't know, 50K or something. But I currently, I keep it very small on purpose. So 25K of like hardcore true fans, that's what I want. 520K, this is the revenue tracker. Whew, I'm going to be honest, guys, that goal right there, I think we can do it. I know I don't sound too confident just because like it's the first week I've really set that goal and announced it publicly. So we'll see. Maybe I'll have foot and mouth at the end of this year, but who knows? I mean, like if you go for something big, at least you'll get bigger than what you wanted. Like if I had just set it at 100K, well, I know I can hit that because I did it this year. So why would I do that again? If you want to get what you never got, you got to do what you've never done. And so setting a huge goal, boom, 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 track that sucker all the way to the end. Now that we've done the front cover, now that we've set up our journal and the back cover, those are the most two important parts, things you will use the most. Let's get into the extra 100 pages or so we have laying around here. Now, I mentioned in other journal videos that you break your journal up into 6 sections, okay? And these are 6 sections that mean something to you. So these could be business, health, finances, learning, entrepreneurship, something like that, books that you're learning, and then you give 20 or so pages to each section. Now there's 110 in here, so depending on how you want to split it up, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then do it, that's fine. Now what you do is when you have that section, you write right here what that section is, and then you keep kind of 6-in-1 journals in this. So we have our covers, right, that track our big yearly goals, and then we have our 6 journals in one where we develop ourselves and we work towards those goals. See how cool this system is, guys? So the first tip I'll give you is leave about like 5 or 6 pages in front as kind of a buffer. Just because you're going to write the power of I am here, and you're going to write like your mission statements, and maybe you want like some huge thing that you want to incorporate, you get really inspired by, do that here. And then in the back as well, leave about, I don't know, I like to leave 5 or 6 pages in there as well. Okay, so now you have roughly 100 pages to divide up into 6 sections. This year I'm mixing it up with the titles, but the sections are roughly similar. Course and student. This is my first section. Now, any online course I have, I'm going to write notes in here. Anything that I'm a student of, like books, I'm going to put in here. Online courses right there and books. Now, you can fill this in. I'm not going to do that with you on here. I like to make these bolded and in red, but this will just take way too long to do with you on screen. So we're just going to leave it like this. So that's the first section, give myself about 20 pages. Section 2, this is my funnel development and internet marketing. Now I've mentioned before that my journal is kind of transformed into my business tool instead of like a self-growth tool. Now I'm totally okay with that too, because your journal is always going to be adapting, it's always going to be changing with your life, with your goals. So mine has turned more into where I develop systems, internet marketing, and that has been a really big like self-development tool for me as a business owner, as a person. So they go hand in hand, they're not mutually exclusive. But here, any internet marketing stuff I'm learning, any sort of funnel developments I'm doing for my business, I'm putting it in this section. Next section is video notes. So anything, if I'm on YouTube, as an avid YouTube subscriber myself, I take a lot of education from there. So you might be asking, well, how is this different, Clark, than online notes from like online courses? Video notes are more casual. They're more like anything you're learning. This is kind of a throwaway category for lack of a better word. Like you can put anything in here that you've learned online. It doesn't have to be in a video, could be in a blog, could be in a podcast. This is just kind of a general learning section, whereas your course notes and your book notes, you'll have a specific page for like this, how to win friends and influence people, or 7 habits of highly effective people, versus here, you might have half a page on like a podcast you wrote. Does that make sense? Next section is your brain dump section. In this section, you write about things that aren't always going too hot or things that you want to process. So here is a great way you can let it all out. I'm not a big fan of like keeping a diary, those sort of journals, or writing about the day-to-day basis. I'm a fan of, remember this, the goal with this journal is to like grow as a person. And so sometimes just writing about your problems, I don't really think you grow the most. You do grow when you analyze them, maybe a week later or 2 weeks later or something, and you look back on what used to stress you out and how you grew from it. That's a good way. If you are going to vent, that's totally fine. Have a section here. I keep it to like 5 pages, maybe at most. I didn't even use this last year, I think. So that's a good sign. But if you have stuff that really stresses you out, put it here. Big life decisions you're making, put it here. Like in college, I had one, I was dating a girl. So I wrote out, as a true male logic, I wrote out like pros and cons of this relationship right here, and will I see myself with this person in 5 years? So I did that in the brain dump section, and that's cool to look back on and be like, wow, there I was struggling with that decision at that time, and I'm so glad I made that decision. Not because she was a bad person at all. There's people you just grow out of. So that's a great example right there of like a processing tool that this can be. The last section is the freedom section, and this is a buffer. This is kind of like if you travel, I put it here. My tour diary, if I'm like, doing a tour calendar or like tour stories, I'll put them here. Anything that's not going to fit in the other 6 sections, I'll cram into this one. If you feel like you want to draw one day, put it in here. If you feel like you read something and you want to process it through, or you're learning about a new skill and you need a few pages, like woodworking or something like that, or gardening for skills that came to mind, you can put it in here. So freedom is like a very low commitment, anything goes sort of section. That's why it's in the back of your journal, and it's not like somewhere in the middle where you might run into issues taking or giving from that section. That's it for setting up the journal. Again, if you want to know exactly like examples of what's in these sections, what does that look like, or how do I use this to the best of my ability, how many pages do you actually set up, Clark? I go over tons and tons of that in the My Best Journal program. It's constantly updated. It's constantly added to. I'm in the process right now of actually adding in, probably like doubling the content in there. So if you like this video, if you like the value in it, then you'll love what's in My Best Journal. Okay, there you go. That is the Ultimate Guide to Keeping a Journal 2018 edition. I hope it motivates you to set up yours, and it's okay, if you miss the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if you're watching this a month, 2, 3 months in to the year, it's okay. You can still do this. You can still set it up. It's one of the biggest questions that comes up in My Best Journal is, Clark, can I start halfway through the year? What should I do? Yes, you can. You can start this at any time. And then once the new year hits, just swap it out and start fresh. Always start fresh every single year. That's just my rule. That's what I like. And then you have an organized log for each year. You don't have to have like split between the first half of the year and the second half of the year. That just gets too messy. Before we wrap up, just a giant thank you for the support with journaling. It's kind of my first big topic on this channel. We've discovered together, and I love talking about it. It's one of my passions, and it hands down is the #1 thing that's transformed my life and how I've been able to achieve stuff I'm really proud of and big goals. And everything you're seeing here is just the process in some way, shape, or form of keeping a journal. And you're able to look back on your previous journals. I can't tell you how cool that is to see things you've written down in the past and then how they're actually manifesting in the present. And it just motivates you so much. It's a positive feedback loop where like the more you do, the more you want to do and the more results you get, and all those influence each other. And so when you're able to keep a journal, your first journal might be kind of rough. It might be like you feel like you're learning the system. That's okay, keep at it. And then a year later, you're looking back and you're getting better and better, or more of your goals have came true. Like I mentioned at the start or of the goal setting video, like I set a goal for 20,000 subscribers on YouTube by 2017. And then by the time it was 2018, I'm looking back on that like, man, I crushed that. And that motivates me to set a bigger goal of like 250,000 for this year. And then hopefully I look back on that and say I crushed that. And so you see how that loop reinforces itself. If you like this video, comment down below, give it a thumbs up, and share it with someone who will dig it as well. I'll see you back here next year for Ultimate Guide to Keeping a Journal Part 5. And if you do like this content, you'll absolutely love what's in My Best Journal. It's at mybestjournal.com. It's the My Best Journal 2.0 program. I'm always adding new content in there. I'm always updating it, making it the best place to be a journal nerd and geek out on the system. You get access to a private membership site as well that I'm in. I love communicating that way. On Facebook, you get a mastermind group with other people who use this journal method, so you can swap tactics, you can swap ideas, you can swap goals, hold each other accountable. All that stuff is included when you get My Best Journal. So that's it from me to you. Thank you so much for being on this journey. Let's crush 2018 together, and I'll see you next video. Till then, stop settling, start living. See ya.